In this video, we're going to look at introducing Java as a language and installing the JDK and IDE. So Java is a high-level language that's suitable for any GCSE and A-level specification. It can be used for any coursework, program projects, or very suitable for showing a lot of the programming techniques, including object orientation. The Java programming language is made up of a library of files called classes, and these classes are like building bricks which minimise new code being made. So it can be very helpful because it's already got a lot of skills already built in within it, very much like Python in that sense. So how do we actually write this Java code and how does it look? And we'll look at this in more videos when we actually write our own, but just as an introduction, Java is written in a human-readable plain text file, so just like a TXT document, but we add the extension .java instead, and that denotes that this is going to hold a Java program. So you can literally write this within Notepad, you can write it in a full-fledged IDE, there's lots of different ways you could go about this. From there we have the Java compiler, and this compiles our .java file into a machine-readable bytecode with the extension .class. So this bytecode then can then be executed by our Java virtual machine. And the little graphic at the bottom shows this perfectly. So you can see we have our .java file on the left, it goes through the compiler and turns into a .class file which can then be ran. So .class it's very, very similar to when you get a .exe file, but instead of the Windows operating system being able to execute those .exe files, it is the Java virtual machine that can run that, and it then shows our app. This makes Java extremely versatile because it can then be run on any operating system, including Windows, Mac, Linux, etc. So what do you actually need to be able to do this Java development? Well, first off, you're going to need the Java Development Kit, or the JDK. You need an IDE, or even if you're using a plain text file, it might be wise just to get an IDE. They are free and they're very helpful for when you're doing your code development, especially when you are learning, because it will then show you to any mistakes that you are making within your code and catch it before that happens. And finally, like any new language, you need some time to be able to practice this. And in the subsequent videos, we're going to go over the different skills that you would require in a GCSE setting and also an A-level setting. And we'll go through that one by one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you ways of getting your setting up your environment, whether it be locally on your machine, which can take up a little bit of time, but not too much, and also we will then look at doing it in a cloud-based IDE where you don't actually have to do any setup whatsoever. So let's have a look at then actually building up this IDE. The first thing that you need is a software development kit, and you can get this from two places. You can get one from adoptium.net, which is the OpenJDK variant, or you can go to the Oracle website and you can download the JDKs from there. If you're downloading them from Oracle, they do require extra setup, so I would recommend getting them from Adoptium. And also there is a lot of license changes in here at the moment, which is fine for if you're just doing it for personal use or development, just like it says here. So these downloads can be used for development, personal use, or to run Oracle licensed products. For use of other purposes, including production or commercial use, you would require then a subscription. So if you decide to really like this and you decide to make some solutions for people, the Oracle JDK might not be for use because that is for personal, whereas Adoptium is fully open source and you are happy to use that however. So, if you're using Adoptium, very simple. You click the big button that says the latest long-term support release, and that's JDK 17. If you are wanting the newest of the new, other platforms and versions, and you can select it here. So for example, I might want Java 18, which is the newest, Windows, I want it on a 64-bit architecture. There's lots of different ways that you can go about that. Okay, whoops, Windows, there we are. So once you've got the one that you want, or you've clicked the big purple button on the home screen, when you click on the .msi, it will soon download. It should show up for me just a minute. And then once it is downloaded, there we go. You can give that an open. And you will be given a screen that looks like this. So click next and it will ask you what you want to actually put in with it. And by default it will have add to path and associate.jar already set to be installed. These are needed, otherwise your IDE won't be able to use them, or your Windows system. Finally, I would also recommend where it says set Java home variable, I would set that to be installed on the local hard drive as well, just to make sure that it definitely does get there. And if you decide to change IDE later on, the new IDE will be able to pick that up straight away. Click next and it will say click install to begin the installation. Click on install and it will install. Once it is finished, you can close it and everything to do with installing the JDK is done. Now I'm not going to do that because I've already got it installed on the system, so I will just quickly cancel out of that. And I'm going to talk you through some IDEs. Now, I've got 3 IDEs here at the top. I'm going to start with Intellij. So Intellij is really the industry leader at the minute of a Java development kit. Sorry, Java IDE. It comes in a paid and a free version. So if I click on download, it will take me to this page. You can see the community version is the free version there, and it lets you do your Java, Kotlin, Groovy, and Scala development. You've got several build tools there to help you. If you use GitHub or any other version management software, it works with that. It's got a debugger, and you've also got Docker there as well. Your Ultimate does go over a little bit more, allowing HTML, JavaScript, etc. You have other Java Enterprise tools, database tools, all that other good stuff. But the Community Edition is more than enough for what you need if you are learning this. The next IDE that we have got is Apache Netbeans. This was the IDE that was shipped with the JDK in days of old. It's been taken over by Apache. It is a very strong IDE, and it's getting better and better over the future. And again, it's got all the same features as Intellij, but it does have HTML, CSS and JavaScript in there already. PHP developments are also in there. Lots of stuff, and all your build tools are there as well. Finally, if you don't want to do any of the setup, and I would like to say for both Intellij and NetBeans, it does just come with a standard installer. Install it onto your machine, and when you first open it up, if you've installed the JDK as shown earlier in the video, it should be able to find your Java development kit straight away, and you'll be able to use it. The one that I'm going to use for these videos, just to have a unified area, is Replit, which is a free coding development environment online. You can have as many of the coding elements as you want, and it contains lots of languages from HTML, Java, C++, C, C#, etc., Python, all of that is there. And like I said, that is free. We're going to pricing. So there we are. And you can use as many of these REPLs as you want, which is your development environments for each project that you do. And it is really, really helpful. So now that that is all set up, from the next video we're actually going to start using the language and actually learning the different bits and pieces. So I will see you in the next one.